Thank you all so much for coming out today. It's so great to see you all here. It really is. And I was just talking to some folks over there that I just met, and it's so nice to meet y'all as well. And I just want to say, I want to start out with this. I think what we see going on in our country today, it's partly our fault. We're partly to blame. We've been too quiet for too long, and I love what Tim is doing with this Freedom Rally, because this is what we need. We need to get out here. We need to be seen. We need them to know that there is a voice in us, and we're out here. We're going to spend our time out here. We're going to do this a lot. And I want to start by saying this. A lot of you might think he just makes beer, but Samuel Adams said this: "It does not take a majority to prevail, but rather an irate, tireless minority, keen on setting brush fires of freedom in the minds of men." That's what we're here to do today. I said this last time we were out here. It's also salvation of the state is in the watchfulness of its citizen. That's what we are out here to do today. We've got to hold them accountable. Because if we don't, as our founders promised, government will just get bigger and bigger and bigger. That's all it knows how to do. Swallow, swallow, swallow. And we get swallowed up with it, and so do our rights. I just want what I was promised, folks. That's it. I'm here to ask just for what I was promised. And I want to read through the Declaration a little bit later, but I want to say, as Nebraskans, in the middle, you're the minority. You really are. You're outnumbered by the Californians and the New Yorkers. The radical Democrat Party is the party of death and tyranny. Yes. They want to pack the Supreme Court. They want to dissolve the Electoral College. You know what that does? That takes away your representation at a federal level. SR1, they want to federalize the elections. They want to codify what they did in the last election. That's to silence your voice. That's what they want to do. They want to take away your power, folks. They want to confiscate your firearms.
No more silence!
No way.
They want senators like Megan Hunt want state authority to overrule your parental authority.
No.
They don't think your kids are your kids.
My kid's my choice.
There we go. Folks, I just want what I was promised. When you see them toppling these statues and things like that, they're not going after Thomas Jefferson. They're coming after your liberties, and Thomas Jefferson is standing in the way. All right, I'm going to stop there, and I want to bring up another fiery speaker here, and that's Denise Bradshaw. I want to get her up here. Let's get Denise. Everybody, give me let's welcome Denise up here, please.
Hello, can y'all hear me? My name is Denise Bradshaw, and this is Rocco and Diesel. They come everywhere with me. Some of you have met them already. They're patriots. So today we're supposed to save America. What does that mean? I think it means she's in distress. I think she's been knocked down. Does anybody else agree with me in that?
Stop
Is America in
communism!
distress?
Stop communism!
Well, thank goodness I'm at the right place then, because I agree. How did we get here? How in the world, in one generation, did we get to a point where we're rallying to save America? Because my parents sure didn't have to rally to save America. It was just assumed. How did we get here? We got here by passive cowardice. Apathy. Passive cowardice. Over the last couple of days, I have met people who have told me they don't want to get involved beyond fellowship. That was literally the word said to me. Just fellowship. All I want is Christian fellowship, no more. Yesterday we were supposed to protest at schools from Omaha to Gothenburg. And yesterday at the school I was at, only 3 people showed up. Me and 2 grannies. 3 people who don't have kids in school. But we showed up to fight against the leftist indoctrination of our children. So how did we get to this place? We got to it by passive cowardice. Our leaders let us down. Who are they? Ben Sass. Don Bacon, who turned on us within 48 hours. And then, of course, we know what happened to Donald Trump. What we need to do to save America, what do we need to do? What do you guys think? What do we need to do to save America?
Stand up.
What does that mean? What does stand up mean?
Speak up.
What does that mean? What does speak out mean?
Quit being silent.
Being silent.
Get out of your car and stand here with a flag. Call your representatives.
I'm going to say there's 2 things we need to do to save America. Number 1, showing up like you do. That's great. But I'm going to ask you to bring one more person with you at the next rally. If you have a sibling, a parent, a neighbor, bring just one more person. Secondly, get to know your local candidates. Do any of you know your school board members? Yes. Excellent. All right, I'll be honest with you. I don't have a clue. I don't know who my county commissioner is. But after this, my commitment to you is I'm going to start knowing. I'm going to know my school board people. I'm going to know my county commissioner because they're going to get to know me. They're going to get to know me, my face, my letters, my emails. Can you guys commit to that with me?
Yes.
Even if you don't have kids in school, these people are putting property taxes on us that are unbearable. Are you going to get to know your school board members?
Yes.
Are you going to get to know your county commissioners?
Yes.
Are you going to get to know your unicameral representatives?
What the fuck? Sorry.
He already doesn't like me.
The last thing we need to do, in my opinion, that the left has taken away from us to save America is our faith. To save America first, we need to save ourselves and our families. I'm talking very seriously here. I know a bunch of you are like going, oh my gosh, she's going to talk about Jesus. No, I'm not. Don't worry about it. I'm not going to go into some Jesus thing, but I am going to talk about faith. I'm going to talk about a lot of us who have fallen from our faith, and I'm sad to say I'm one of them. But I've recommitted to my faith. Woo! The left has taken our ability and our right to say that we are religious people away from us. We need to stop saying that we're spiritual because that really has no meaning. We need to say we're Catholic, we're Lutheran, we're Methodist, we're Hindu, we're Muslim, we're Jewish. We need to start showing up at our churches, our synagogues, and our temples. We need to get back, and our families need to get back to our faith. We need to get back to our God, how we define him, and we need to have the courage to say that we're doing it to all of our leftist siblings, neighbors, and cousins that we all have. I can't be the only one with leftist siblings, right? Please tell me I'm not the only one.
I got leftist parents. That's okay.
All right. But we need to save America. We need to save ourselves first. We need to get back to church, temple, and synagogue. We need to say, God, I'm really sorry. The last few years I've kind of ignored you, but I'm not going to do it anymore. That's step 1. Thank you all so much. Thank you to Tim Davis for inviting me to speak. Freedom Rally is awesome. Let's get back to church. Let's pay attention to what's going on in our country, and let's show up. Thank you all so much. Matt.
And a couple fellow patriots from Montana stand with the patriots of Nebraska. Thank you! Nebraska, the real big sky country.
Thank you so much, Denise. I just want to welcome our friend here. I just want to say Black Lives do matter. And we're the party that actually believes it.
Amen.
The Democrat Party called, help me out, Tony Connor, correct? The Democrat Party called the police union president, Tony Connor. They called him a house Negro. That's what they called him. And last night, he made the decision to switch parties to the Republican Party. I got a chance to speak to him. He said, it's too bad, the state of all this right now. I can't imagine how offensive it must be to be called a house Negro by people wearing and waving Black Lives Matter flags. I don't understand the logic in this. There is none. It's absolutely evil what these people represent. We do believe that those lives matter. We actually do. And we support Tony Connor, and we're so glad to have him in the party. Next up on our list, I'd like to invite Tyler Henningsen to come on up and give us a few. Yeah, come on up, bud. I think he's going to be, are you going to be representing the Herbster campaign or just yourself today, sir?
Mostly myself.
All right.
It trickles over, then it trickles over.
That's how things work. Well, first off, awesome patriots. It's glad that we can finally have a group of people who are unafraid to stand up for religious liberty, freedom of speech, and Second Amendment rights in Nebraska. They are not afraid of Antifa or leftists or people who threaten to do us harm. It's a group of people who are dedicated to the principles that have made this country great. And I am so appreciative of what you do. A little bit about me. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Tyler Henningsen. I have been involved in GOP politics in Nebraska for 4 or 5 years, worked on a number of campaigns, and last year I had the opportunity to travel the country and campaign on behalf of President Donald J. Trump, the 45th and current President of the United States. And anyone who tells you otherwise is drinking the Kool-Aid. Now, something that I have learned in these 4 years, and especially being in a red state like Nebraska, but living in Omaha, which is in CD2, a purple district, is that leftists will stop at nothing to strip away the rights of every American one by one, election by election. They will try to buy congressional seats. In fact, just a couple days ago, the National Democrats announced that they're pouring an additional $2 million into Congressional District 2, which is Don Bacon's district. And unless you want somebody like a Cara Eastman who wants Medicare for all, universal abortion on demand, and the strictest gun laws that anyone could ever imagine, it's time to act. And that's why it's so great to have all of you here today being ready to stand up for these freedoms. I think back to last year in Omaha. I live downtown, so when people, Antifa and these rioters were burning down our city, I saw it firsthand. They are not peaceful people. They are not peaceful people. But you know what? They may be violent on the outside, but they're really cowards inside because they know their ideas can't win. They will not win in Nebraska. They will not win across this country as long as we stand there as the firewall against radical socialism, abortion on demand, stealing our religious liberties, as Denise said. It's time to act. We can't. Look at Omaha. Look at the awesome results we just had with our city elections there. The Nebraska Democrat Party tried to take down Amy Melton. They tried to take down Brinker Harding, Gene Stother, and we organized and we fought back. That's the attitude that everyone across Nebraska needs to have if we want to keep winning elections and electing solid conservatives. It's time to be angry. It's time to be loud and upset. We can't mope when we lose. That should motivate us to win, to work harder. Look what they did with the election last year. Are we going to let them try to steal elections going forward too? No! We're lucky in Nebraska that we have a pretty secure election system, and I want to give a shout out to Bob Evnen and senators like Senator Clements who are doing an outstanding job to make sure that we don't have the problems that they have in Arizona and in Pennsylvania. We have secure elections, and we want to keep them that way, which is why it also starts with the legislature. We have a large number of radical liberal senators who mask themselves as moderates and conservatives in districts across the state because we have a nonpartisan legislature. It's time to take back the people's house so that we don't have to deal with bills like pushing sex education standards on our kids as young as 5, telling them that, oh, well, you think you're a boy, so we're going to be forced to call you a boy at 5 years old. That's Megan Hunt's bill. We don't need that, okay? It's not productive. So, in summation, since I am kind of going off on a tangent,
Keep going, brother.
Get involved. That is the best thing that you can do. Keep showing up. Don't just talk to your friends and neighbors, but show up. Knock doors for solid candidates. Now, I don't want to get too much into the governor's race, although I do work on a campaign, but this is not my place to campaign for my candidate, though I am willing to talk to everyone afterwards. Going forward, governors have two jobs. One, to efficiently run the state. That means good fiscal and monetary policy, protecting states' rights and things like that. But more importantly, it's pushing back against federal overreach. The Biden agenda, taking our Second Amendment rights away, imposing these terrible COVID restrictions on our churches. We're not going to stand for it. They are the last line of defense between the people and the cronies and bureaucrats in Washington, D.C. trying to California or Nebraska, and we're not going to stand for it. So get involved, vote, and if you'd like to learn more on how to get involved, whether it be in the party or with campaigns, please talk to me afterwards. And thank you, Tim and Matt and all the awesome patriots who organized this rally. What you're doing is awesome. It's appreciated, and I'm glad you took the initiative. So thank you.
Thank you, sir. Tyler, thank you for your words. Thanks for all the work that you did. You know, he did a lot of work for the Trump campaign, and now just he's doing work for the Herbster campaign. He's a good young man. And we need more youngsters like him. Okay, well, is it okay if we go a little bit out of order? All right. Well, making a really cool, grand entrance here. It's like, okay, I'm gonna time this just right, so I look really cool coming down these steps. Oh, that's Senator Brett Lindstrom, and he's got a few words for us here today. You know I had to call you. I had to call you out on that, man.
Freedom lovers, how you doing today? Excellent.
Okay, I'm going to time this just right, so I look really cool.
Thank you.
I don't know how that happened.
Senator Clements, how you doing today? Well, thanks everybody for coming out. I really appreciate it. It's great to see all the folks here, freedom lovers, liberty lovers, showing up on a Saturday to promote the issues and what we have going on, not only in the state, but the country, and what we're trying to accomplish here in the legislature. Senator Clements is here, and he's also a freedom lover and liberty lover, and we've been doing a lot of stuff this session to get things done. One of the big bills you probably heard about is LB 236, Second Amendment. I'm sure we have a lot of Second Amendment fans here. So we're continuing to fight. Senator Tom Brewer, who I'm sure a lot of you know and love as much as we do, have been fighting for those issues. And we're going to continue to do that. We have LB 236 up next week. And if you can contact your senator and let them know that you are supportive of that, we would appreciate that as state senators. One of the things, if you were at the Douglas County Elephant Remembers last night, huge get for the Republican Party. Tony Connor, who is the Police Officers Association president, was a former Democrat and now Republican. And what's great about that, and as you've heard in the news, we stand for, as a party, and as Nebraskans, we stand for law and order. And Tony Connor, who has been put down from the left, has come around to see the light on the Republican side and for the freedom and liberty side, and has now become a Republican, and that is another huge win on our side, and we're continuing to do that. Next week, we also have a huge bill up, LB 64, something that I've championed for the last 7 years, and we're one of the handful of states that tax Social Security income. If you believe it or not, we're one of 13 states. And we are on the precipice of getting that phased out. We have that out next Tuesday. It's one of those issues where, did somebody say Florida? Well, we want to keep you here. So we're right on the edge of getting eliminating military retirement taxation, which again Senator Brewer championed, and that's going to be that'll be gone after this year. And then the Social Security income, we're right there, and that actually passed on select file 44-0. And we have one more hurdle to get over that, and we will be one of the handful of states that won't tax Social Security income, which is fantastic. Another bill is coming up, and we're going to have another opportunity to do this. I'm sure you've heard at Convention of the States. And as Nebraskans, we very much believe in states' rights, and we'll continue to work on that. Convention of States will again one of the states that we're going to one a handful of states that is continuing to push that, where we can take back this country from a freedom standpoint and putting in possibly term limits, a balanced budget amendment, things of that nature, and we're going to continue to work on that. You know, as I look and think about as moving through the future here and what we can do as a legislature, what we can do as Nebraskans, as Americans, you're all in the front lines of that fight. You are the tip of the spear in promoting those issues and working on that, and I appreciate all that you do to come down here and fight on behalf of all Nebraskans, and not only
remembers Tim's Freedom Rally USA. We've got a new organization called the Nebraska Freedom Coalition. Tim's got some information on that, so please see him about that as well. These are organizations we need you to get hooked up with. We need you to get active. It's one thing to get on social media and make a bunch of comments and fight with all the commies. It's another thing to get out here and get to work.
Amen.
We've got a lot of work that needs to be done.
Amen.
Somebody that knows about that kind of work, and I want to bring her up right now, is Christina Campbell.
Hello. How's everybody doing? Can you hear me? Okay, good. Okay, I have to read off of a paper because otherwise we'll be here all day because I can talk. So, hello, fellow patriots. I dipped into my garbage bag of gas to get here today. But really, in all seriousness, Lincoln came off of a rough municipal election. But I do want to thank everybody for their support and all of the continued messages and encouragement that myself and all of the other candidates who took it to the mat for this city are still. I'm super proud to work in this beautiful building behind us. I work for a great senator, Senator Groney. He is the author of LR 107. Yes. Who fights every single day to keep this state on the conservative path. Freedoms are not something we can take for granted. We are in grave danger. My papers. We are in great danger of losing our freedoms. We are closer to it than we've ever been in my lifetime, and it's super scary. I want to emphasize, Megan Hunt, that you can say that standing up for the Constitution is partisan all you want, but standing up for the Constitution actually means that we're not only fighting for our rights, but rather fighting for everyone's rights. That's you over there, if you're listening. Even if their beliefs differ from ours, freedom is not a partisan issue. Some of our legislators need to hear that. We all have the inalienable right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, and that means everybody, even you over there. That being said, how do we start fixing what's broken? Here are a couple of ideas. We start working on down-ballot races. For example, school board. School board is so important. I ran for school board here in Lincoln because, frankly, I am sick and tired of seeing what's happening in public schools. The agenda is clear, it's powerful, and it's infuriating. We cannot allow comprehensive sex education and critical race theory to be taught in our schools, let alone to 5-year-old children. We need to stop teaching kids to be victims because of their skin color. I don't care what race you are, what gender you are, or what you identify as. I don't care who you're attracted to. I care about making sure you are loved for who you are and that your peers and teachers treat you with respect. But parents have the power when it comes to sex education and politics. Kids deserve a valuable education, period. We have lost sight of that, as is evidenced by the low test scores across Nebraska. The agenda is outweighing good education, and as long as I'm here, we're going to work on stopping it. We're going to be starting a mission to educate parents on the school board issues, like where our tax money is going, the curriculum, how to become more involved, and budget transparency. And I'm going to recruit parents to run for school board because the days of 20-year school board tenures with 0 challengers are over. We have to wake up and get involved. No more running unopposed. I came within 159 votes in the primary and 750 in the general to a 20-year incumbent who got most of her campaign money from the teachers union after the primaries when they realized they had a fighter on their hands. I walked through 1,500 houses and I worked my butt off, and I won election day, though I lost overall, which brings me to my next point. We have got to work on Republican voter apathy. I have heard more times than I can count that the elections don't really matter because they don't affect us, so we just don't vote. Hi. They do affect you, and they do matter. I've heard, I just get too anxious about politics, so I don't pay attention. Guess what? You're going to be even more anxious when taxes go up for a Green New Deal that we don't want, we don't need, and we don't know the cost for. You're going to be even more anxious when your already ridiculous property taxes go sky high to pay for the outlandish salaries of the LPS administration, the new schools that really aren't needed, and the $320 contract that Civic Nebraska has with LPS. That's your tax dollars going directly into Adam Morfeld's pocket.
You are on fire, girl!
You are going to be more anxious when you learn the truth about what they've been telling you about not raising that tax levy. Don't let the school board make fools of you. A levy and a bond are both taxes that you pay for. You're going to be even more anxious when the police department shrinks even more because nobody on the city council gives a crap about it. You're going to be even more anxious when your freedoms and values and rights get trampled on without any regard to the Constitution because we have a mayor and a leadership team that are sold out to the leftist agenda and they don't give a single crap about anything except furthering it. But local politics don't affect us much. Wake up, Lincoln. If you need a permanent mail-in ballot, we can hook you up with one. If you need a list of freedom-loving candidates, we got that. A lot of them are here today. If you need like-minded friends, we can help. If you need voter education, we can get you that. If you need a ride to the voting booth or the election commission, we can help you with that. If you need motivation, I got plenty. I'll pass it around. What we can't get you is your rights back after they're taken away. I can't get mad enough by myself to fix everything. It's going to take a group effort, and it's not going to be easy. But guess what? It wasn't easy to win this country in the first place, was it? We cannot let the Founding Fathers down. We can't let the men and women who have put on uniforms and put their lives on the line for this city every single day down. We can't let the people who have put their lives on the line for this country and even died down. We can't let them down. We have to stand up right now, stop letting the Constitution down, and use the freedoms that we have as citizens of the greatest country in the world and turn the tides of this city and this state ourselves. Now. No more sitting back and letting others do it. There's not time for that. No more we will get involved down the road. We don't have time for that anymore. The time is now. I will leave you with one of my favorite quotes. It's by Edmund Burke, and it's so true. The only thing necessary for the triumph of evil is for good men and women to do nothing.
That's right!
Great job, Christina.
That was
Love
amazing!
We love her. Christina, thank you so much.
You're in, sissy.
Over here.
Okay, who's up next? Let's go. I understand that Senator Clements, I talk to him. I get the pleasure of talking to him once a month at the Sarpy County Republican meetings. And something that he's been working on, which is really dear to my heart, is a sanctuary law for the Second Amendment here in Nebraska. Folks, I really believe in working within the system, but it's really scary looking at the landscape of what we got going on. It's a weird thought that one city, Washington, D.C., can represent 320 million people with so much diversity of opinion and value, and yet they seem to think that they can run our entire country from one city. And I'm sorry, but this has never worked. And the logic that goes into that is completely unfounded and just illogical. It doesn't work, and it's failing now. And what you see, in my opinion, is secessionist type thinking, which is exactly what sanctuary laws really are, if you think about it. They're saying, no, we're not going to submit ourselves to your laws because it's an unconstitutional law. Thomas Jefferson said, if it's unconstitutional, it's not a real law. So don't follow it. And that's exactly the type of stuff that Senator Clements is doing right here in this building. Without any further ado, Senator Clements, come on up, please.
Thank you for the invitation. I'm Rob Clements, and I represent District 2, which is Cass County. I live about 25 miles east in a town called Elmwood. I represent all of Cass County and southern Sarpy and a little bit of Nebraska City. And I've been up here 4 years, and I'll be up for re-election in 2022. And it's a lot of work here. We had days this week when we got here at 8 o'clock in the morning and left at 10 o'clock at night. And it takes a lot of time. I got 5 kids and 13 grandkids. I'm 70 years old, and I'd like to just be retired somewhere, but I think it's worth me being here to hold my thumb in the dike against all this socialism that they're trying to give us. This country was founded on godly values, and our Constitution, our founders were godly people, and the liberal socialists hate our country, and they want to do away with it and take away our freedoms. And so I'm a person here that is going to keep fighting for your individual liberties, and we're not going to let them be taken away. We don't have enough conservatives to pass everything we want, but we do have enough to stop all the bad stuff, but it takes a lot of work, and we'd sure like to have you guys help bring us some more conservatives so that we can represent, so the legislature represents the people of Nebraska. Right now it does not. It's a lot more liberal than what the average Nebraska voters are. And regarding the gun rights, there's, I don't know if you've noticed, but the counties across Nebraska in this last year have been voting to be sanctuary counties, where they say if the federal government passes gun restrictions, that the local law enforcement will not have to obey the federal laws. They will not take your guns away. They'll have to, the federal people will have to bring some of their own people out.
That's right.
And we now have 80 Nebraska counties that have declared themselves to be sanctuary counties. And we have more of them that are on the agenda in their counties. And we'll keep working on that. I did prioritize LB 236, the gun rights bill, to give us some more gun rights. But we do need this a year from now we're going to have a primary election. There'll be a lot of senators up for election. Is it about 16?
Yep.
Something like that.
Yep, 16.
And so pick a senator and work for them.
Yes.
We really do need just feet going door to door. It doesn't take money. If you have some time, we can organize you to just get on your phone and make phone calls for us, or go door to door and hand out tracts for us. So we do really appreciate that. But I'm here to keep a conservative pro-life vote in the state of Nebraska, especially in my district. And I just appreciate and thank you for the opportunity to come, and thanks for inviting me.
Thank you.
Thank you, Senator. Thanks for all the work that you do, sir. Folks, our rights do not come from this building. I'm going to say that again. Our rights don't come from this building. Our rights come from our Creator. He endowed us with inalienable rights. Folks, we believe in life, liberty, and the pursuit of our own happiness. And all we ask is that you don't tread on us. That's all we ask. We're just here asking for what was promised to us by our founding fathers. We need organizations that are doing the hard work. One of those organizations is the Republican Liberty Caucus. And I want John Tucker to come up here and just give us a few words about what they do.
Thanks, Matt. Welcome, everybody. Thanks for showing up, first of all. The first job in politics is show up. That's the first rule. You've done that today. That's awesome. So I'm the vice chair of the Republican Liberty Caucus. We formed in Nebraska back in 2008 during the Ron Paul campaign, and there was about a ragtag bunch of us that did that number one rule. We showed up at our county parties. We showed up at a state party. We then elected a few people, at least myself and Laura Epke's dad, Ron Schwab, through the RNC convention in 2008. I voted for Ron Paul. I did not vote for John McCain. I saw through it all. We stayed together, we worked, we got more people involved in the party, and that's what we need to do again. We need to continue that effort to grow the party. You people that are involved are the ones who decide what the party does, but you can't do it if you don't show up. You have to show up. So we continued in 2012. We elected, again, a couple people, myself and Mary Jane Trumper, to Tampa for the RNC convention in 2012, where I again voted for Ron Paul. I did not vote for Mitt Romney. No way, no way. And then we kept going, trying to build momentum, get momentum going. So we thought Rand Paul was going to be our guy in 2016. Rand burned out after the first Iowa caucus. Who knows the story? I was like, well, what am I going to do now? And there's this guy, Donald Trump. Like, oh man, can he win it? It's like, I don't know. But you know what? I like that message. I like what he's doing. Going to rallies and standing next to people that haven't voted in 20 years. Union people that don't even know if they're registered to vote. And there they are at a Trump rally, getting excited and listening to liberty and freedom again. That's what we need more of, liberty and freedom. So what I'm asking you to do is to, wherever you live, if you're in Lincoln, if you're in Omaha, whatever county you're in, there's a county GOP party. And I know, you got to sometimes hold your nose because you got to listen to all that same old people that voted for John McCain and voted for Mitt Romney because they're still there. But they did support Donald Trump. That's a good thing. But we can show them the path forward. We can show them liberty and freedom. But we just got to do that one thing. What's the number one rule in politics?
Show up.
Show up. All right. So you can find the RLC, the Republican Liberty Caucus, on Facebook, RLCNE. And we are working on other activities, other events. We helped out the Log Cabin Republicans back when Scott Presler came out. And that was an awesome event, both Omaha and Lincoln event. We are going to do that again. Tim's doing that again with the Freedom Rally in July 24th and 25th. 24th will be in Lincoln, 25th will be in Omaha. So make sure you come out for that. That's all about party registration, getting people to come out and join the Republican Party. Because if you're not in it, you're not going to win it. So we've got to keep working on doing that. Got to do that. Number one rule is to show up. So I want to thank you for all coming out today, and let's keep this party going.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, John. All right, next up, I want to introduce Brandy Briquette. Come on up, Brandy.
Okay. Hi. Hi. So, if some of you are all here because of Freedom 515. A lady out of Colorado by the name of Erin Foley started a TikTok video, and it went viral. It went very viral, very fast, within about a month. So she arranged for May 15th. And that's how we got the Freedom 515. We're a group of conservatives from all across all parties that are just where we're sick of government overreach. We want our freedom. We are Americans. We are here. We believe in America, and we believe our life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness. So we want to stand up for American civic rights. I've been silent for way too long, trying to understand what best party up until 33 to understand. Republican Party is the party for me. Because I'm 33 years old, I don't want our freedoms to be taken away. No one wants their freedoms to be taken away. Learning history, having a dad that teaches history. Don't forget, we live in Nebraska. How'd the Republican Party come about? If you don't know that, you're not studying history.
Right.
The Nebraska-Kansas Act wanted to expand slavery into the western half of the United States. A group of congressmen did not go for that. That's why the Republican Party was formed, right?
Yes.
Right. So, why do they all vote for Democrats? Well, I guess they want to live in slavery and communism. So that's what I believe. That's what they all thought. So that's what they voted for. Well, you know what? I don't stand for that. So I encourage you to go follow Freedom 515 Nebraska. We won't be all just rallies. We're a group of like-minded individuals thinking together, wanting to get together, and we invite you I also encourage you heavily, if you can't make it to any events, all summer long, we're bringing back, a lot of regular things coming back throughout the summer, the Stewart 4th of July. You ever go to Check Days in Wilburn? Any of those events, wherever you go, every single weekend, every single day, I encourage you, wear red, white, and blue. Fly your flags, fly them high, fly them from your vehicles, fly them from your tractors, tell your friends. Because you know what? We're not silent anymore. We need to keep America. We need to keep America prospering like I remember it as being growing up. So let's not live in fear anymore.
Thank you, Brandy. No, I was just thinking, Senator Lindstrom said this already, and I said it once before he came out. It's just so sick seeing what they called Tony Connor. I mean, it's absolutely just reprehensible. It's disgusting. It's un-American. These folks, they fly these flags, but they really, these are racist comments that they're making about people. I was just thinking about it over there as Brandy was talking. After Senator Scott gave his speech, and what's the word when it's doing something on Twitter? What's the word? Trending. Trending on Twitter was hashtag Uncle Tim. It's absolutely disgusting what they do to people like Clarence Thomas, Tim Scott, Tony Connor. How dare Candace Owens?
Ben Carson.
And the list goes on, right? How dare you go outside? No, I hate using this terminology, but
I support that.
how dare you go off the plantation? And how dare you represent Founding Fathers' values? Freedom, liberty. How dare you? You're an African American. You have to think a certain way. We are the party of inclusion, not them. Thank you. Thank you.
You don't know what race I am.
That's actually a really good point. What this is doing is this is creating a walk-away movement. People are walking away from the Democrat Party every single day because they see the hatred and the violence that is behind these people and behind their flag. With that being said, I want to bring up our next speaker. Her name is Amy Lynn. Amy, would you come on up and give us a few words, please?
Hi guys, how are you? Happy Saturday. It's such great weather out here today. I'm going to be kind of quick. So I am a social worker. I am a domestic violence survivor. I have a very ethnically diverse family. Up until a year and a half ago, I was so far left, I fell off. In the last year, my job has been threatened, my family's been threatened. Some of my friends that I worked with for a very long time took screenshots of what I was saying on Facebook, not using my real name, and supplied that information to my now employer. Been very stressful. The people that you think are on your side are not on your side. And the fact that they would do anything that they could to essentially ruin a single mom's family is disgusting. My job as a social worker is to help families who are culturally and ethnically diverse, who are from every walk of life that you can possibly think of. Rich people who became poor, poor people who became rich and lost it all, addicts, alcoholics, child abusers, people who suffer child abuse, sexual abuse survivors. My code of ethics as a social worker is to help families come up out of such evil and be together. Thank you. A year and a half ago, I walked away from the Democratic plantation because I got sick and tired of watching what was happening to families that I was working with over and over again. Just because you believe one way doesn't mean that you're evil and nasty and horrible. Unfortunately, Mr. BLM guy over here isn't listening because he's too busy flapping his jaws. But at one point in time, I used to be on the same side as him.
Hey, I talked to him. He's nice.
I'm sure he's a very nice guy, but he's not listening, which is part of the problem with these people.
Wait, sorry, did you say BLM, Blue Lives Matter?
Right, yes, Blue Lives Matter. That was going on to my next point. Thank you very much, Brandy. Last year, we lost an officer who is an essential part of this community. Several friends and I stood up at UNMC. We made signs for prayers for him, and essentially he lost his life. Within the last year and a half as well, I became the biggest pro-police supporter I think I've ever been in my life. And I will also kind of follow this. Hold on a second. Excuse me. Hi. I'm up here talking. If you could shut him up for 5 minutes, that would be great. Listen to me. I used to be on your side, dude. Anyways, what they're doing to Mr. Connor is terrible. I don't necessarily agree with the mailer that went out, but I think if one side can do it, the other side should be able to do it freely as well. The problem is that they're fighting for equality and there's really no equality. It's their side and no side whatsoever. And I think that's what's essentially tearing apart this country. I'm a single mom. I have everything to lose by coming up here. In fact, when I'm being videoed doing this, the last time I did this, I think it was September or October last year, somebody found the video and turned it into my now employer. I had to explain the reason why I do what I do. I shouldn't have to do that because I'm an American. And I work every day, and I fight every day for my family and I. You guys are awesome. I just really feel like there's such a massive divide, you know, and I'll be honest with you. I was a registered Democrat. I'm now a registered independent. I am a little bit afraid to pick sides at this point in time in my life. But I'll tell you what, the side that I'm on right now, I'm pro-gun. I am pro-life. I'm pro-police. I'm pro-family. I'm pro-education. You know, we need to kind of get back to our roots, if that's a good way to put it. I will also tell you that for the first time in my life, I'm pulling my son out of public schools. He will be going to a private school next year. I unfortunately had a situation with a coach who told my son that if he was going to work a job and do another activity, he could not play football. That's bull crap. When you look at, and I'm from Omaha, y'all. I grew up here, but I live in Omaha now. I called several other coaches within the Omaha school district and asked them if that was a policy of other coaches within Omaha, and it is not. When you look at Central, when you look at South, when you look at Northwest, the coaches do not tell those kids to not work. Some of the families don't have a choice. I'm a single mom. I fortunately do well enough that I am able to take care of my child, but to tell my kid that he can't work because it's competing with football. Mind you, I just want to point this out, and this will be going to an email to these coaches. The school that we go to has not had a winning season in 30 years. It's the same coaches that have been playing and coaching there for 30 years. Every single district within the Omaha area knows all of the plays these coaches do every single game. We lose constantly, and it sucks. So my question is, so we're supposed to strive from this losing mentality, right? But we're not able to have the rights to do what we need to do to get to the winner mentality. That's the problem. Again, my name is Amy. I'm a single mom. I'm a social worker. I'm a domestic violence survivor. I'm a sex abuse survivor. I'm a rape survivor. You know what? It's time to take this shit back. And we don't have to be angry all the time. We have to stop and listen. We have to listen to everybody. Listen to what's going on. That's why I love the Walk Away Foundation. A lot of those people have been scrutinized their whole entire life for their beliefs. That's not right. Whether you're gay, straight, transgendered, identify as an Apache helicopter, it doesn't matter. Everybody has the right to be who they want to be without being scrutinized. God bless you guys. Thank you so much. This guy's really good looking, by the way.
That's embarrassing. Amy, thank you very much. Those were amazing words. Thank you. We got a little impromptu speaker here real quick. I want to bring up, God bless America. I want to bring on, he's the president of the Republican Liberty Caucus, and then right after that we've got one last speaker, Stephen Bader. Come on up, bud.
So John, he already hit it out of the park in talking about RLC, but there was something that Amy said that made me want to come up and speak. So I have every understanding in the world why some people don't necessarily want to associate with the Republican Party, and so they identify independent or even registered libertarian, or they just don't pay attention to politics, like what Christina said. I would like to encourage every single heroic patriot that's standing here at the Capitol to register as a Republican. Why? Not because I'm saying that I want you to transform into one of those stuffy, out-of-touch people, so that you can replace and become the new leadership, become the establishment in lieu of those stuffy, out-of-touch people. The only way that you can do that is if you register as a Republican. There's power in the primaries. There's power in showing up at the county parties. The only way that you can get on those central committees is to be a registered Republican. So you can make change from within. You can make change at the ballot box, because the only way that you're going to get that certain list of names on your ballot is if you're registered a Republican. So I just want to encourage, look, I'm as liberty as it gets. The first word in the Republican Liberty Caucus is Republican. Second word is liberty. And guess what? Matt and I talk all the time. We don't have a lot in common with some of the people that are in leadership of the Republican Party. We're probably not people that they would want to hang out with, and we don't necessarily want to go hang out with the swamp either. Okay? They're crazy. In fact, recently I was just speaking to Lincoln Southeast High School, and they're getting a Republican club going. And I asked them, I said, we love the police! Stop the police! Yeah! All right. So I was talking to Lincoln Southeast High School, and they were getting a club going. This was just a few weeks ago. And I asked them, I said, what is it like trying to recruit more young people into your Republican club? And I said, can I take a wild guess? It's probably not very easy, because young students, they don't identify with socialism. They know that Bernie's nuts. But guess what? They also hear the establishment Republicans talk, and they don't identify with that either. They go, well, wait a second. The Democrats are control freaks, but then some of these Republicans are too. They're literally saying that cannabis that is going to stop my kid from having 1,000 seizures a day, it's actually going to kill him. That's nuts. And every single one of those students in those rooms, every single one of those high school students sitting in that room, all 20 of them, were nodding their head yes, like a bobblehead, saying, I completely relate. So many times the party says to reach out to grow the party is to be more moderate, to spend more, to basically be a big government Republican. Well, I'm here to tell you that what will grow the tent is actually to become a liberty Republican. But to be a liberty Republican, you got to register as a Republican. I know everybody here loves liberty. Everybody here is a God-fearing patriot, and I love you with all my heart. So please, if there's anything, I wasn't planning on speaking, but I heard what Amy said, and I'm a fan, and she said she was registered independent. This is directly to you and directly to anyone else. Register as Republican, join the county party, vote in primaries, make a difference. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Stephen. Absolutely right. You know, we see that. I mean, you can't win as a libertarian by being in the Libertarian Party. You can't. We've got, and you have no better home, I believe, than with the Republican Party. So I absolutely echo that. Thank you very much, Stephen. You know, and we have to be willing to open our ears. We have to be willing to listen to what other people have to say. You know, I have some pretty radical views about the drug war. I think the drug war represents systematic racism. It's a radical view. If you want to talk to me about it, I'd love to share some of my stories with you. I grew up in California. The CIA was running crack into Los Angeles, and they were destroying the black community. That's systematic racism. I'm sorry. You've got to be willing to listen to the other side. Be willing to hear what their complaints are and welcome them. And for gentlemen like this, pray for them. Pray for them. That's what they need. Pray for our country. God bless. God bless the United States of America. We've got one last speaker that I want to bring up before Tim gives us our closing remarks. This guy is pure fire. Something that I really don't like about our party. I want to air a grievance if you guys don't mind. Something I don't like about our party right now is they seem to pick winners and losers. I don't like that. And I don't like how this guy isn't getting very much press. I don't like how this guy's out here with us every single time we do this. This guy's out here telling us what we want to hear. He represents liberty. He represents freedom. He's out here. He's usually strapped. Love it. Without any further, Rio and Ridnow, would you please come up and give us some words, man? Fire us up.
Thank you so much for that, and thank you all. You all have my undying respect for being out here today. I know we're all sweating bullets. It's hot. It's hot. It's Saturday afternoon. You guys could be doing anything out there today, but you're here representing freedom. You're here representing the people of the United States of America and Nebraska. And I just want to thank you so much. It does not go unnoticed. I appreciate you being here. I will keep my speech. I did write this out, and I will keep it really quick. Okay? I appreciate you guys being here. Let's start. All right. So, America, land of the free. Is that right? Land of the free. At least that's what we're told. But let me ask you though. You feel free when you're forced to wear a mask. You feel free when you're restricted of travel and other amenities because you didn't receive a vaccine. You feel free when biased, immoral, inappropriate sexual education is being imposed on your children without your consent. Do you feel free as our national debt continues to weigh heavier at an alarming rate? Our constitutional rights are being asphyxiated, that's being choked, strangled, and your choice of market products are limited by corporate lobbyists and government sellouts. That's not freedom. I don't feel free. Our federal government is riddled with communists who despise a free society because freedom is the antidote to control. It is much harder to impose control on those who are already free. Nevertheless, the communists in this country are very successful with populist manipulation, sleight of hand, and diversions to keep us off balance and distracted. They spend their entire lives and many of their fortunes on enslaving the American people to their ideology and usurped authority. Look how many long-term politicians we have that are on the liberal side that have been in office for decades, that are dumping millions and millions and millions of dollars to eliminate our freedoms. It's preposterous. Well, why do they do this? Right? Why? Because of the evil that rules their hearts. Now listen up. I'm going to preface this because I'm going to read a little bit of scripture to you. I'm a devoted Christian. If you're not, that's okay. I'm going to read some from the scriptures. Is that okay? Can I read a little bit of Bible to you? And if you don't believe in the Bible, that's okay, but you can appreciate a little bit of truth that I'm about to give to you. That's in Romans 1:20, 21, 28, 31. And it says, "But since the creation of the world, God's invisible qualities, his eternal power and divine nature have been clearly seen, being understood from what has been made, that he made, so that people are without excuse. For all that they knew God, they neither glorified him nor gave thanks to him, but their thinking became futile and their foolish hearts were darkened. Furthermore, just as they did not think it worthwhile to retain the knowledge of God, so God gave them over to a depraved mind, so that they do what not ought to be done. They had become filled with every kind of wickedness, evil, greed, and depravity. They are full of envy, murder, strife, deceit, and malice. They are gossips, slanderers, God-haters, insolent, arrogant, boastful. They invent ways of doing evil. They disobey their parents. They have no understanding, no fidelity, no love, and no mercy." This is not a perfect example and definition of the political opposition that we face today. Right? The people which the Apostle Paul refers to in Romans, those are the people that are running our country today, and we got to stand up and stop this. This is ludicrous. This is a war that we fight, not between different political ideologies, but between evil and good. Right? We know what these people want America to be like. We've seen it time and time again, like countries like Venezuela, China, and Russia. That is what they want to make the United States into. Time for bipartisan politics is over. This is simply not a disagreement. Ladies and gentlemen, we must draw a line in the sand and stand firm together. Our liberties, our communities, our families, and our own lives depend on freedom-fighting patriots like you to unite, never ceasing to stonewall and repeal the actions of those that seek to break the backbone of our community, which is the family unity, and to destroy our country's foundation, and that is Christian values. The first step to regaining the control of our country is to start right here in Nebraska, by voting out liberal-minded politicians and voting in Nebraskans that will protect our values, stand strong for truth, and be willing to sacrifice everything in the service of our state and country. As we move further into a political election year, or another election year, beware of the rooted politicians that bear no fruit. Avoid these that speak inspiration, yet lack the intent and the passion to actually follow through. Our country can no longer tolerate fair-weather politicians. And so, the last I want to leave you with is another Samuel Adams quote. I love Samuel Adams. The guy is just amazing, right? If ye love wealth better than liberty, the tranquility of servitude better than the animating contests of freedom, go home from us in peace. We need not your counsel or your arms. Crouch down and lick the hands which feed you. May your chains sit lightly upon you, and may posterity forget that you were ever our countrymen. I'm Braylon Ridenauer. Thank you for being here today.
Pure fire. Pure fire. Love it, man. Love it. We got one last guy. And I want to ask us all if we could just give him a round of applause, because Tim Davis has really set this whole thing into motion. He's done so much work. I'm so honored to work with him and the stuff that he is doing, and I'm so happy to be here. I'm so honored to be here. And so for just some closing remarks, Tim, would you come on up and address the crowd, please, sir?
Everybody, first I want to say thank you for all of you that are still here. I know these can get a little long with everybody, but we have a lot of first-timers here, so I want to just give you a quick, really fast background of who I am. My name is Tim Davis. I am the founder of Freedom Rally USA. Freedom Rally started off as the organization that did the Stop the Steal for President Trump right after the November election back in 2020. We had our first rally right here at this, right where you all are standing. We had roughly about 250 people show up, and across the street we had over 100 counter-protesters over there. We were here for 4 hours fighting for election integrity and all of that great stuff. Here we are today, roughly 6 months later, and mind you, yeah, we've got a small crowd. We've got about 60 to 70 people that showed up today during our peak. But we started this in the winter, and back when right during our last one, it was about 27 degrees, and we had about 40 people here. And I was standing here thinking to myself, why am I here? It's freezing cold. I'm not Trump. I can't go get an Air Force One and get warmed back up like he can. I can't ask people to stay here in 27-degree weather and freeze and stand for an hour carrying a flag. But I stood right over where Senator Brett's at, and over here where our big anti-Trump BLM flag holder over there was a couple that was roughly about 70, 80 years old, and they were sitting here holding a flag, and they were here every single week for over 7 weeks, every single day, no matter how cold, no matter how rainy, no matter how sleety it got out here. They were here every single day, and it reminded me, if they can get out here, I can get out here. There's absolutely no reason that us as patriots who are sitting here at home on our computers, on Facebook, complaining every single day about what the left is doing, but if you're not willing to stand here and support your country, if you're not willing to go out there and knock on the doors for the candidates, if you're not willing to stand there and make calls, what are you doing? All you're doing is just sitting there doing the same thing that everybody else is doing. And remember one thing, the more that you complain on Facebook, the less they're going to listen. It's coming out here and making them give up their time to end up being across that street arguing about us. Because you know what, that's where we get the most. Because that's when the media comes out, that's when everybody else starts talking. And they're going to be like, you know what, I was at this freedom rally the other day and I hear they're going to be doing another one if Facebook allows you to know that we're doing another one. And then you're going to come, and then we're going to have those 40 or those 100 people again. We're going to have 200 people again. We're going to have 400 people again. On January 6th, we had over 450 Americans from across the entire state of Nebraska, many of them getting hotel rooms just to stand here for 2 hours with us. If they are willing to travel that far for us, why aren't we here in Lincoln doing the same thing? I see everybody on the Lancaster County page complaining constantly about Lincoln's elections and Lincoln's elected officials, but where were you? Christina Campbell, she was on the ballot. She believes in the liberty ticket. Why isn't she elected? It's because we believe, and we've let the media and we've let the left believe and tell us that there's nothing we can do. That there's no way that we could win this back. And I'm here to tell you that's wrong. With Christina, I was a candidate last year. In 2020, I fought for my race for the Public Service Commission during COVID.
You showed up for me too.
And I showed up for her. I was a no-name candidate. Nobody had any idea who I was. The DCRP barely knew who I was. All I was a guy who gave the bacon shirt off of his back to a bunch of Boy Scouts and walked in every single bacon parade that year. The next year, the DCRP asked me to run for the PSC, and that's what I did. COVID came around, nobody knew who I was, but guess how many votes I got? Not only did I beat my primary candidate, who ran at that time for I think 3 or 4 races, including governor, mayor of either Lincoln or Omaha, I beat her by 10 points. And then in the general election where nobody knew me, I got 53,000 votes. That means 53 people in Douglas County trusted me to represent them. The thing is nobody realized just as how important the Public Service Commission is to your everyday life. I had no idea. Do you realize the Public Service Commission is the department that takes care of the pipeline industry that goes through Nebraska? Do you know that my candidate, who at the time was the Douglas County Democrat chairwoman, voted to shut down the pipelines and have hazardous material shipped across rail cars? At the same time, I had her admit on Facebook that she knows that there is an increase in train derailment. So now imagine if car fuel is being transferred by rail car through the middle of any small Nebraska town and it gets derailed. What do you think is going to happen? I grew up in a small Nebraska town. I grew up in Lexington. There is train tracks that go right through the middle of town. And I'll tell you now, if one of those trains derails, what do you think is going to happen to my community? Not only is the community going to be destroyed, but how many lives are at risk? And this is an elected official that voted for this, and she's happy about it. And her excuse was, since it wasn't presented as evidence that there is an uptick in derailment, I could not take that into consideration for my vote. How many more liberals feel that way? Though you know that there are derailments and though you know lives are at risk, you're still not going to take that into an account, and you want me to trust you with my life? We have an uptick in mass shootings. I'm not saying it's because we have a Democrat in office. I'm just saying it's ironic that he's been in there for a little over 100 days and we've had almost 100 mass shootings since then. Not saying there's a coalition, but I am saying, or coordination, but I am saying that it's kind of ironic. Are you going to trust these people? The same ones that sit here and tell you that we bum rushed the Capitol, but fail to tell you that the Capitol was taken over by unarmed civilians. At this time, We had almost every single elected official in the exact same building, including our vice president.
Yes.
And they allowed unarmed civilians to take the building. Are you going to trust these people with your lives? Because they're the ones that say that you don't need a gun. They're the ones that say that we need to take your guns. They're also the same ones that had a political candidate in 2020 that said we are going to come to your home and take your gun.
You could try it.
That's who we have in office right now. That's the reason why I put on this Saving America Freedom Rally. Why? Because it is up to us to save America. Why? Because the majority of our elected officials, we can't trust them. Why do you think we're bringing Scott Pressler back to Nebraska? Why? Because he is going to teach us how to find the right candidates to replace the ones that aren't doing their job. Your job is to represent me. Do I care about what your opinion is? Sure, of course. Why not? But that's what the campaign's for. Don't sit here and tell me what I want to hear and do something different. Because guess what? That's when Freedom Rally, that's when the RLC, that's when the Nebraskans Against Government Overreach, that's when the Nebraska Freedom Coalition comes out and says, guess what? You just kept that seat warm for a real candidate. Because we are going to put real candidates in that building, and not only in Nebraska, but nationwide. What's important is we need to get people together. We need to get more than this many people together. 60, 70 people is great. I totally agree, but guess what? We need more. We need a lot more. Because we can't get these candidates. We can't get candidates like Breland, sorry. We can't get candidates like Breland elected if there's only 50 or 60 of us here. Where is everybody? What are they doing? Are they sitting at home?
Working.
Are they texting? Keyboard warriors, exactly. We have a lot of keyboard warriors. But you know what? It's time that we get out there. The weather's beautiful outside. Right now is the time that we need to get out there. And right now is the time that we need to get people together like this. You need to get those masks off your face, because guess what? We can take them off now. You know what? We live in America, where America, guess what? We can identify as whatever we want in a liberal America. So guess what I identify as? I identify as a vaccinated American, though I've never been vaccinated. But guess what? I can identify that.